Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. So today we will learn about chapter 8, which is WAN, Wide Area Network. Ingat tak dulu kita ada belajar LAN, WAN and so on kan? So dalam chapter 8 ni dia fokuskan tentang WAN dan apa yang berlaku dalam WAN. So kita tengok dalam next slide. Alright. So ini definition of WAN lah. Okay. So WAN ialah kalau yang seperti kita bincangkan before this, is any data communication yang dia cover area yang lebih besar, broad geographical area, ataupun kawasan yang dia cover tu lebih besar. So dia wide lah kan. Kataan WAN ni kan daripada wide area network, so they cover wide geographical area. So normally WAN ni akan connect two or more geographically distinct LANs. Maksudnya dia ada banyak LAN, combination of few LAN. LAN tu local area network. Yang ni boleh tengok balik dekat dalam slide yang sebelum-sebelum ni lah. So biasanya WAN ni it can expand to cover state, nations or the entire world. Besar sebab dia wide kan, so dia boleh sama ada cover negara ataupun seluruh negara. Example of WAN ialah internet and HQ to branch network connection. So dia maksudnya macam contohnya penggunaan internet ataupun satu lagi ialah HQ kepada cawangan. Komunikasi daripada HQ kepada cawangan dia gunakan wide area network. Macam contohnya office tu ada banyak cawangan kan, so dia kalau dia nak hantar data direct from contohnya touch ni nak hantar data kepada UNITA, universiti utama dekat KL ataupun Selangor kan, so Negeri Sembilan so dia akan pakai WAN lah, because it covers the area tu lagi besar compare dengan LAN, sebab dia boleh cover area yang sangat jauh compare dengan LAN yang dia cuma boleh cover kecil sahaja. So that is the difference between WAN dengan LAN. Okay, kita tengok dekat next slide. Okay, so most WAN dia ada combination of LAN dan juga other types of communication components. So kita akan tengok WAN link ni, sebab WAN ni ada banyak jenis. Okay, contohnya packet switching, fiber optic cable, microwave transmitter, satellite link and cable television coaxial system. Ada banyak kan, ada. So you have to be able to list down lah kalau apa contoh-contoh link yang dihasilkan oleh WAN link ni kan. So ianya adalah packet switching, fiber optic, microwave, satellite dan kabel television. This one hampir sama je dengan yang kita pernah belajar dalam slide-slide ataupun chapter-chapter sebelum ni. Ingat lagi tak, kita ada belajar fiber optic yang laju kan. Ada kita belajar microwave, kita belajar satellite and cable. Microwave ni bukannya microwave orang masak tu. Microwave ni microwave communication lah. Alright, next. Kenapa kita perlukan WAN? Okay, saya listkan beberapa contoh lah kan. Okay, a bank with offices around the state need to connect office to gather transaction and account information into central database. Maksudnya kenapa kita perlukan WAN? Contohnya bank ni ada banyak cawangan. So dia nak simpan data dan information tu dekat satu center. So perlukan WAN sebab antara cawangan-cawangan bank tu kan dia jauh kan. So dia perlukan WAN lah. Sebab kalau dekat je kita boleh guna LAN kalau dalam satu bangunan. Tapi masalahnya bila berkaitan dengan cawangan, we need to cover a wide and larger geographical area. Kawasan persekitaran yang lebih besar lah. Alright. Second reason ialah regional sales representative for a national pharmaceutical company need to submit their sale figure to HQ. Lebih kurang sama lah kan. Cawangan regional nak hantar dia punya sale macam record kepada HQ yang jauh kan. So dia kena ada WAN ni, iaitu connection yang membenarkan interaksi data communication yang besar dan lebih jauh boleh travel data tu. And so on lah, dan dua ni lagi contoh. Ni contoh-contoh je lah kenapa kita perlukan WAN. So dalam WAN sebenarnya menggunakan switching teknik. So apa itu switching teknik? Switching teknik ni adalah satu teknik yang memastikan data tu sampai dengan jalan yang terbaik. So in English je kita cakap it ensures the connection is established by picking the best route ataupun path, jalan yang terbaik. So sebab kan ialah bila kita ada banyak banyak kabel kan, so ada banyak laluan kan, macam korang jugalah, macam daripada point A ke point B ada banyak alternatif laluan kan. So switching teknik ni akan memilih laluan terbaik untuk menyampaikan data tersebut. So different need have different traffic load, budget, geographical area and commercially available technology. Sebab tempat-tempat yang berlainan dia punya mungkin bajet dia lain, mungkin traffic load. Traffic load ni ialah berapa banyak data dia perlukan transfer dalam satu masa lah kan. Dan juga area tu boleh cover teknologi ni ataupun tak, and so on lah. So menyebabkan ada beberapa jenis switching teknik, iaitu circuit switching, packet switching, message switching and cell switching. So we will go through one by one. Saya ada jumpa video yang sangat baik actually, which will help for this switching technique. Tapi video tu dia cuma terangkan circuit, packet dengan message. Because cell switching ni hampir sama dengan packet switching ni. Nanti saya beritahu beza dia. But first, kita tengok dulu apa tiga switching teknik ni, iaitu packet, circuit dan juga message. Okay.
Today we will see switching techniques. We will start the session with the outcomes. Upon the completion of the session, the learner will be able to understand switching, and we will also understand various switching techniques such as circuit switching, message switching and packet switching. We will start with the definition of a switching. Switching. Switching in computer network helps in deciding the best route for data transmission if there are multiple paths in a larger network. For example, if you take internet, there are multiple paths exist between the source and the destination, and switching helps in deciding the best route for data transmission. Since big networks like internet, there are multiple paths, and it should also provide a feel like one-to-one connection. We have seen what is switching. Now we will see what are the various techniques in switching. Basically, switching techniques are classified into three types: circuit switching, message switching and packet switching. And packet switching is categorized into datagram approach or virtual circuit approach. We will see one by one in detail. Firstly, we will start with circuit switching. In circuit switching, there is always a dedicated path that is established between the sender and the receiver. It means between the sender and the receiver, there will be a dedicated path. Before data transfer, connection will be established first. It means before data is transferred, we have to establish the connection. Once the connection is made, then only data transfer begins. For example, telephone network. Telephone network is a well-known example for circuit switching. Sender first dials the number. Once the connection is established, then they can talk to each other. So dialing the number and establishing the circuit is started in the first phase, and then the data transfer happens. Basically, circuit switching has three phases. Number 1, connection establishment. Number 2, data transfer. And number 3, connection disconnection. So if you observe here, before data transfer, connection is established. That is what is mentioned here. Before data transfer, connection will be established. We will see an example and it will be very helpful for you to understand this in a better way. In this example, let's say there is a big network. Phase number 1 is dealing with connection establishment. Suppose if he is the sender and he is the receiver, so phase number 1 is establishing the connection. This green line represents that this is the connection that is established between the sender and the receiver. Suppose if sender has a message to transmit. Before the message gets transferred, we see here that the connection is already established. And after the connection is established, the data transfer happens. So this is what a circuit switching is. So before data transfer can happen, the circuit or the connection is established. And all the communication uses this channel or this connection, and this connection is reserved between the sender and the receiver. After phase number 2, now comes phase number 3. Phase number 3 means connection disconnection. Now if you observe, the green lines are removed. It means the connection gets terminated. This is what circuit switching is. So far we have seen what is circuit switching, and this is the first technique in switching techniques. Now we will see the second technique, the message switching. In message switching, it uses store and forward mechanism. It means the message is transferred as a complete unit, a single unit, and forwarded using store and forward mechanism at the intermediary node. If you don't understand this, just wait for my example. Suppose if sender wants to send a big data, and this big data cannot be transferred in a single stretch. So it is broken into individual entities or pieces, and each of these pieces are transmitted to the intermediary node. This intermediary node receives all the small pieces and constructs the full message. After getting that full message or the complete unit, then only it forwards the data. This is what message switching is. We will see an example now. It will be clear for you. Suppose if this is the sender and this is the receiver, if the sender wants to send a message, this big message is broken into individual pieces. And finally, all the individual pieces are collected and stored here. After getting the complete message, then comes the forward phase. So first it stores all the pieces and then it forwards. So the complete message is stored and then it is forwarded. This is an example for message switching. And if you observe, the message has reached the receiver now. Coming to this point, message switching is not suited for streaming media and real-time applications. For example, if sender is sending a real-time communication, two people are talking over voice over IP phone. So we can't expect the intermediary node to collect all the data that is sent by the person and forward it, because it is a real-time communication. For real-time applications, message switching technique cannot be used. So for streaming media like real-time communications or live data transfer, or for real-time applications, message switching technique will not be suitable. And so far we have seen circuit switching and message switching. Now we will move on to the third switching technique, that is the packet switching. Packet switching. The internet is a packet switched network. Here the message is broken into individual chunks and each of these chunks are called as packets. This is like our message switching, where message is broken into individual chunks called packets. And here is the difference between this packet switching and the message switching. In packet switching, each packet is sent individually. Suppose if a big message is broken into 5 pieces and each of these 5 pieces can be sent individually. So if each of these 5 pieces can be sent individually, each of the pieces should have some information that uniquely identifies the source and the destination. Each packet will have source and destination IP address. In addition to source and destination IP address, we will also have sequence number, because we know very well that each packet is sent individually. So any packet may be received at the destination in any order. So we need to reorder the packets, and sequence number will help the receiver to reorder the packets. Also, if any packet is missing, this sequence number will help to detect the missing packets. At the same time, this sequence number will help the receiver to send acknowledgement. Say for example, if packet number 5 is received, it will send packet number 5 is received as an acknowledgement to the sender. In case if packet number 6 is not received by the destination, it will not send any acknowledgement to the sender. So the sender will wait for this acknowledgement for a certain period of time. If no acknowledgement is received for packet number 6, it understands that the packet may be lost, so it retransmits that packet. Sequence numbers will help the receiver to reorder the packets, to detect missing packets, and send acknowledgements. Basically, packet switching has two approaches. We will see what are these two approaches in packet switching. There are two approaches to packet switching: datagram approach and virtual circuit approach. We will see datagram approach now. Datagram packet switching, it is also known as connectionless switching. It means each independent entity is called as datagram. If the message is broken into 5 pieces, then each of these 5 pieces are called as datagrams. And each datagrams contain destination information, and the intermediary devices uses this information. Which information? This destination information to forward the datagrams to the right destination. Suppose if the original message is broken into 5 datagrams, each datagram will have destination information, and these destination information will help the intermediary device to forward the datagrams to the right destination. So in this case, each datagram will take different routes. It means the path is not fixed here. Unlike circuit switching, the path is not fixed in datagram approach. Who takes this routing decision or forwarding decision? It is the responsibility of the intermediary nodes to take the routing decision or forwarding decision to forward the packets to the right destination. We will see an example. It will be very easy for you to understand now. So this is an example where this is the sender and this is the receiver. Now let us assume that the original message is broken into 4 datagrams. Datagram 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if you observe, datagram 1 is going this way and datagram 2 takes this path. Now datagram 1 is going this way, whereas datagram 2 is taking a different route. And if you observe, datagram 1 is using a different way which is not used by datagram 2, and this is not used by datagram 3. And if you observe, datagram 4 is moved faster than datagram 3. 1, 2, 4 and 3 is the order of the datagrams that are received. But receiver knows how to reorder this because each datagram has sequence numbers. So these sequence numbers will help the reordering process easily. Now the reordering is done by the receiver and it constructs the original message as like it was sent by the sender. So this is an example for packet switching and the datagram approach. We have one more approach in packet switching, that is virtual circuit approach. Virtual circuit switching is also known as connection-oriented switching. So in the previous case, that is the datagram approach, it is connectionless, where every individual datagram takes a different route. But here, in the case of a virtual circuit switching, a pre-planned route is established before the messages are sent. It means before sending the messages, some route is decided using some virtual circuit identifier. So there will be a virtual circuit identifier followed in the scheme, and this route is decided before the data are sent. Call request and call accept are special packets that are used in the scheme to establish the connection between the sender and the receiver. So in this approach, the path is fixed for the duration of a logical connection. In the previous technique, that is the datagram approach, the path is not fixed, but still it is a packet switching technique only. But here, this virtual circuit approach, the path is fixed for the duration of a logical connection. We will see an example, then it will be clear for you. In case, if this is the sender and this is the receiver, you can see that there is a logical path that is established and data transfer is happening only through this way. So packet number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, all these packets are traveling in this route only. And after the data transfer process is over, this connection gets terminated. If the same two computers or same two nodes wants to exchange data, we can't guarantee that the same route will be taken for the next data transfer also. And the route will be decided based on the availability. We will have a simple recapture now. So basically, switching means finding the best route for transferring the data from the sender to the receiver, and particularly in a large network. So switching basically has 3 techniques: circuit switching, message switching and packet switching. And packet switching has 2 approaches: datagram approach, virtual circuit approach. And that's it guys. We are at the verge of completion. I hope now you understood what is switching. I hope now you understood what are the various switching techniques like circuit switching, message switching and packet switching. I hope the session is informative and thank you for watching.
Okay, so video tadi dia dah cover 3 switching teknik dalam one kan, which is packet switching, circuit switching dan juga apa lagi satu tadi? Kita check dekat atas ni. Kita ada 4 total kan. So dan message switching. So ada 3 yang dia dah cover dalam video tadi. And then dalam video tadi dia tak cover about cell switching. Sebab apa dia tak cover? Because it's almost the same like packet switching except that dia kurang reliable. Dia macam tak boleh diharap sangat lah because dia banyak kekurangan dia. So tapi kita kena tahu juga apa itu cell switching. Cell switching dalam network ni dia sama in terms of that dia memecahkan data tu dia pecahkan kepada paket-paket yang kecil. Kalau korang tengok dekat sini, it is similar to packet switching except that the cell refers to fixed length packet. Ini je beza dia. Kalau macam packet switching yang tadi tu, data tu dia pecahkan kepada butiran-butiran kecil supaya lebih senang nak travel from one point to another point, tapi size data tu tak konsisten. Mungkin ada yang besar, mungkin ada yang kecil and so on lah kan. But cell switching ni setiap pecahan daripada data tu dia sama size dia. Maksudnya data A, data B, data C and so on, everything is with the same size. Dia ada fixed length dia lah. Paket tu dia dah consistent length ataupun fixed length. So yang ni dia cakap one major difference is that cells have a fixed size. Sementara packet pula, kalau packet switching tadi tu can have different size. Yang ni you have to emphasize on it lah. Perbezaan between packet switching and cell switching. Ni sahaja. Between the size of the packet. Ingat lagi tak saya pernah explain last time? The packet ialah sebenarnya data-data yang telah dipecahkan kepada size macam size yang lebih kecil untuk travel along the network lah. Alright. However, cell switching ni it is unreliable. That's why kita jarang membincangkan tentang cell switching ni. Because it is connection-oriented packet switch data communication protocol. Dia tak boleh nak macam yalah kalau some connection dia akan ensure that data tu semua sampai dan dalam aturan yang betul kan. Yang cell switching ni tak boleh, dia tak sedetail itulah. So biasanya it is ideal for integrated environment such as ATM. Masih ada penggunaan but not so much. So cell switching, masih lagi dia ulang point yang sama, closely resembles packet switching in that it breaks data stream. Maksudnya data yang besar dia pecahkan kepada small streams into packet which are then placed online that are shared by several stream. Ingat tak kalau saya cakap tadi, switching ni ialah teknik untuk dia pilih laluan terbaik bila kita ada banyak laluan untuk menghantar data from point A to point B. For example, ada 3 laluan, kita akan pilih laluan yang terbaik kan. So, dalam cell switching ni, sebelum dia start hantar tu, dia pecahkan data anda yang besar tu kepada paket ataupun data-data yang kecil lah. Yang ni saya pernah explain dalam last slide yang the data tu dia akan pecahkan dan travel one by one. For example, korang nak hantar message the word saya, for example kan, dia pecahkanlah S dia hantar dulu and then A and then Y and then A. So one by one dia akan pecahkan. Dalam cell switching ni dia dah ada destinated size dia. Dia dah allocate dia punya size dan semua size paket-paket tu mestilah sama.
compare dengan packet switching yang tadi tu. Kalau packet switching tu, size tu boleh berbeza-beza. Itu sahaja dia punya beza dia. Alright, yang ni dia punya explanation lah. ATM is used for voice, data, fax, real-time video, CD quality audio, imaging, and multi-megabit data transmission. Adalah contoh-contoh dia lah. So, dia akan provide high-speed data transmission rate over broadband and baseband LANs ataupun WAN. Tu adalah 4 benda yang anda perlu tahu tentang switching lah, switching teknik tadi tu kan. And then, ada satu lagi yang saya nak tekankan in here is that okay, yang ni tentang satellite communication. Yang ni saya nak tekankan because kita ada belajar last time about satellite communication kan. Kita kena ada satellite, kita kena ada transmitter dan juga receiver kan. Kalau tengok dekat gambar ni ada transmitter ataupun antena dan juga ground ni ialah receiver. Dan dia ada nama spesifik dia kalau dalam satellite communication ni, which is the uplink and the downlink. Sebenarnya this word korang boleh tengok dia punya keyword dekat perkataan awal up dengan down ni je sebenarnya. Uplink ni ialah link yang dia cuba lakukan daripada ground ataupun tanah ataupun tempat kita lah kepada satellite. So ini adalah dia punya definition dia ialah transmission of information from the ground station, daripada sebarang station yang di atas tanah kepada satellite. Meanwhile, downlink ni pula ialah transmission of information from satellite to the ground, daripada atas kepada bawah. Sebab tu dia ke bawah ataupun in English we call it downlink. And as we have discussed before, it biasanya normally in satellite communication we will have a receiver yang with a receiving antenna. Dan juga kita ada transmitter with the transmitting antenna. So setiap benda ni dia ada antena dia. Ialah untuk menerima data tu kan, atau menerima ataupun memindahkan data tu. So it is either receiver or transmitter. So it also has some methods for connecting the uplink to downlink for retransmission, penghantaran semula, and prime electrical power to run all the electronic system. So basically dalam wide area network ataupun WAN ni, the most important thing that you have to know is what is switching technique, yang seperti yang kita bincangkan tadi tu, yang saya akan tunjukkan dekat atas tadi yang before this kan, which is cell switching. Switching technique ialah teknik untuk memilih jalan terbaik kan, antara laluan yang banyak bila kita nak hantar data from point A to point B kan. And then you have to know what are the 4 types of packets, what are the 4 types of switching technique, which is packet switching, circuit switching, cell switching dan juga message switching. So you have to know each one of them, how it works dan juga definition dia lah. Okay, so that's all for today. So simple je. So I hope the video yang saya share tu it might be helpful for you. And if there's any questions, so you can contact me later. That's all for today and thank you.